Hey, Trader Bear back. And in this video, we're going to be taking a deep dive and doing a quick tutorial slash walkthrough of the #1 charting platform in the world. So what is TradingView? TradingView is a charting platform and social network used by over 30 million traders and investors worldwide to spot opportunities in the markets. It has risen to the #1 website worldwide when it comes to all things investing and has held that title for quite some time. So let's start with pricing. How much would it cost to utilize such a powerful and useful tool like this? TradingView offers a few different plans in which you can utilize and take advantage of, starting at $12.95, going all the way up to about $49.95 depending on what it is that you want access to. Now, I'm not going to go over all the features within these plans. You guys can see them on the screen and kind of take a look and make a decision for yourself about which plan might be best for you. But if you aren't yet ready to invest into the TradingView platform, then guess what? The basic plan is absolutely free. Now, obviously, with the basic plan of TradingView, you're not going to get access to nearly as much as you would get with any of the paid subscriptions, but it still allows you to access the platform, utilize their charts, do your markups and analysis, and this can definitely be done and very much useful for some brand new traders. So let's take a look at it. Once opening a free TradingView account, this is how the screen will typically look. In this tutorial, we're going to be starting from the top panel and understanding our chart settings and then making our way all the way around the chart itself. So this is your first time on the TradingView platform and maybe you're not too fond of the way that the chart looks. Well, you can actually customize your charts, as you guys have probably seen from many different traders all over the internet. Everyone puts their own unique style and touches to their charts and what it is that they can or cannot view. Now, if you want to customize and change your charts on the TradingView platforms, there's two main ways to do it. One, simply by going to the top right hand corner and clicking this gear right here, which is your chart settings button. Or two, going anywhere on the chart itself and right clicking and going down to the settings tab. So once you open up your settings, you're going to see all the different chart settings that you have access to, including being able to change the actual colors of your candles or your bars, as well as the borders that go around the candles, and even the color of your wicks. Moving down under those three options, we have our price line. So the price line is actually going to be the current price of the market, which is over here. As you can see, it's currently set to red and green, which means when price is pushing up, this line is going to be green, and when price is pushing down, the line is going to be red. If you feel like you can't see the price line too much, you can actually change the thickness of the line itself and customize it to your own liking. Here's an option that I don't really use too often, but it might come useful and in handy to some of you traders watching this video. This is the high, low, and average price line. So the high, low, and average price line is going to give you the high points of the market. As you guys can see, this is based on how much you are either scrolled in or scrolled out of the current chart. So as I scroll in, you'll see the high point changes based on the current highs of the market. Scrolling a little bit more, there's the current high here. Scrolling a little bit more, and here is the current high here. So that would be the current high. The average is going to be the one in the middle, and then our low point is down here at the very bottom of the market. This could be useful in helping you identify and understand at a quick pace the highest and the lowest points of the current charts that you are looking at. From there, we're going to skip down to the bottom and look at our time zone. So with the time zone, you're going to be able to actually change based on where it is that you live and where it is that you're located, what time zone you are actually in. So if you are in the United States, for example, and you reside on the East Coast of the United States, you might want to put UTC-4, which is the New York time zone. By changing this, you're going to be able to change the time that is actually shown on the charts at the bottom of your trading view. Let's move on to status line. So for the status line, all this is really changing is the information that we see appear on the top left-hand side of the screen. So for example, we can choose to either show or not show the symbol or currency pair that we are currently looking at. So as you guys can see, if I uncheck this, the Euro USD symbol disappears. Under this, we have our open market status, which is just this little green button right here, letting us know whether the markets are either open or closed. You can choose to have this on your screen or not. Under that, we have our OHLC values, which you can uncheck as well. We have our bar changes, and we have volume that you can choose to check or uncheck. Now, right now, if you're looking at these texts, they're pretty hard to see because the color is yellow. This is going to change and vary based off of what it is or what color you have right here on borders. If I were to change this border and make that black, as you guys can see, now the color of my text has changed too. The color is going to vary based on the candle that you're actually hovering over. So if I am on a bullish candle and my bullish candles are blue, then you will see that the color of the text actually changes to blue. If I am on a bearish candle or a candle pushing down and I have that set to black, then you're going to see here that the color of the text changes to black. Moving down the scales. So the scales tab is going to be everything that has to do with pretty much over here, the scales going up and down on a vertical axis, as well as the scales on the bottom on the horizontal axis. The first one here is the symbol name. So as we uncheck or check symbol name, all this is doing is pretty much showing you what symbol you are currently on right next to the price of that actual symbol. So if I uncheck it, the Euro USD symbol disappears. If I bring it back, Euro USD is there again. We have our symbol last price label, which is right under the actual price. We can choose to uncheck that if we want. We have our bid ask, our high, low, and average prices again. So putting more of a visual on that high, low, and average price that we talked about over here in the symbols tab, we now see it on the scale. We have our countdown to bar close, which is pretty much just a timer letting us know when the next candle is going to be opening. This is a plus button that we can actually put and utilize. Coming over here to price and anywhere on the vertical axis of the scale, you can press the plus sign here and it'll pull up a few options for you to be able to utilize on a shortcut kind of basis. We can choose to have our currency in unit visible over the mouse hover, which is on this top right corner, USD, visible. Or we can put it always visible, where I don't have to hover over it. Or we can just simply make it invisible, where it never shows. I'm going to make visible over hover. And now we're going to move down to appearance. So appearance is actually pretty cool, and this goes more into customizing your charts and making it more of your own flavor. So let's talk about the background. You can change the background of your actual charts from solid to a gradient texture. So let's just say, for example, I want to make it black and white and have a nice gradient kind of texture there. Or let's say something like this. That can be done. Or I can just make it very simply a solid background, whether it is solid black, solid yellow, green, or whatever odd colors you might want on your chart. The vert grid lines is actually just going to be your vertical grid. So if you didn't already see it, there's actually a grid on the chart and it looks kind of like this. What you can do is you can come in and change the color of this grid, but not only change it, lower the opacity because maybe you don't really care to see the grid too much. And all of this stuff you can kind of just go through and pretty much get more acquainted with the platform and how to customize your charts straight through there. Now let's move to the top left hand side of your TradingView chart. At the very far left, right next to this menu button, you're going to see the actual currency pairs, or whatever symbols you're looking to trade. If you were to click this, you can search the different symbols, whether you have the setting on all, stocks, futures, forex, crypto, indices, so on and so forth. So for example, let's go to forex. Once we get to the forex tab, we can then make the decision of just looking at all the currency pairs here from A to Z, or we can choose a specific exchange that we might focus on depending on where we live in the world. I personally like Oanda. So I would come to here, change this to Oanda, and now it's only going to show me the currency pairs and the prices that correlate with the Oanda exchange. So I'm going to click Euro USD on Oanda. Moving over from the pair itself, you have your actual time frame that you're going to be looking at. So based on whatever chart and time frame that you want to look at, you can go from anywhere from 1,000 ranges to monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, minutes, and even seconds in the market. Now what's really cool about this is that if you have specific time frames that you tend to look at more often than others, you can actually add them to your favorites, and it will show right up here at the top at all times, even when you refresh your charts. So if I look at the 5-minute, the 30-minute, the 1 hour, and the 4 hour, I can add all of those to my favorites, and as you guys can see, it'll allow me to sit back and forth, do the different time at a more quicker and efficient rate, going from the daily all the way down to the 5-minute in a matter of seconds. Next to that, we have our candles. So the TradingView platform offers more than just candlesticks. You can look at bars, you can have hollow candles, you can have columns, area, Heikinashi, Renko, and so on and so forth. And again, just like the different time frames, if you want, you can choose to actually favorite your favorite style of chart and be able to come back and forth at a more quicker and efficient rate. Indicators. Now this is a tab that I'm sure a lot of you may be familiar with, or you may have been looking for. So the indicators tab is very simple. As you come to the indicators tab, this is going to be the different indicators that's offered on the TradingView platform. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to add a stochastic to my chart. I can simply do that, click the stochastic button, maybe add it to my favorites as one of my favorite indicators, and you guys will see it'll always be there. Now that I have the stochastics on, maybe I want to go ahead and add an RSI as well. So I click that, we'll find relative strength index. We're going to add that to our favorites too, and we're going to add it to the chart. Last but not least, let's add a Bollinger Band. We're going to again come over here, click the star, and add it to the charts. So now we have 3 indicators on our screen. Now if you wanted to customize your indicators, you can do that simply by either going to the indicator itself on the left hand side of the screen. We have our Bollinger Band settings here, our stochastic settings here, and our RSI settings here. So you can go to either one of those, come over here, and click the settings button and be able to change the settings, or you can go to the actual indicator on the screen and simply just double click on the indicator itself and it'll pull up the settings for you as well. Now let's say I wanted to hide an indicator without necessarily getting rid of it. Well, you also have the hide button for your indicators here as well. And you can choose to hide the indicators, or a little shortcut and a tip that a lot of people don't yet know is that if you simply just double click anywhere on your chart, it'll hide the entire bottom part of any other indicators that you have open that are not added to the actual chart itself. By double clicking again, it'll bring the indicators back up. If I wanted to hide them, double click to bring them back. Now what's really cool about TradingView is that if I wanted to, I can actually have indicator templates. What this does is that if I trade multiple strategies or have different settings on certain indicators, I can actually choose to come over here on the indicator template button, click that, and save indicator template. So I'll save this as TB test 1. Hit the save button. And let's say, for example, if I have another strategy that I'm utilizing, let's say we're trading swing trades, and I have all of this on my screen, and then I decide that, hey, you know what? I think the markets might actually be better for my TB test 1 strategy. I'll come up here, click it, and there you go. All my indicators are back. Now, if you have multiple strategies that you trade on a daily basis, feel free to, again, add them to your favorites, and you'll see all the different strategies here, which makes it more easier and efficient for you to go back and forth from your different indicators and be able to utilize it just off of that. Now, the alerts button is pretty cool. What the alerts button does is it allows you to create alerts for the markets, whether it's on a specific currency pair and you're looking for something in particular to actually happen on that alert. You can look at all the different settings on this alerts panel, and by setting an alert, you'll get a notification through your chart if you have it open, on your app, on a pop-up, on an email, or on a webhook URL. Now, another tip for alerts as well is, aside from this alert button up top, you can actually go over here to anywhere on the chart, and let's just say I want to get alerted when the market completes this move and comes down to this previous low right here. I can actually put an alert by right-clicking at that price and just hitting the add alert. It'll show you the price, and you can add alert simply at that price. And market replay is one of my favorite tools to utilize when backtesting and looking at different points in the market and being able to see on more of a live view what the market has done previously without actually having to been on the market when it happened. So once we click the market replay button, you guys can see you'll be able to choose on the chart where you want to replay to. So we'll do it again so that you guys can see it. Click replay. We'll come back to over here. And as we're watching this, we just want to see for the strategy the markets come back up into the ribbons so that we can get a bounce off the ribbons and the market starts to go down. So in backtesting something like this, you can choose to either play the market little by little, where it'll play automatically, and you can control the speed right here on the speed bar, making it super slow or super fast, or you can simply pause the playback and choose to do it candle by candle by clicking this forward moving button. Last but not least, we're going to go over one more panel, and then we're going to throw in a very useful tip at the end to help you in your day-to-day trading. So let's look at the left panel. All the way to the left, you're going to see this panel on the side, which is why most people actually use the TradingView platform. It's for its tools and different features that you get access to. So at the very top, we have our crosshair button, where you can choose which crosshair you actually have as you're hovering over with your mouse. So you can choose a cross, you can choose to have a dot, you can choose to have an arrow, or you can have an eraser and just erase things. We're gonna stick with the cross. Under the cross, we have our trendline tools. So there are many different trendline tools that can be utilized on the platform. You have the trendline itself, where you can draw up a trend line on your chart, and again, be able to change the settings, the thickness, the color, and everything like that right here on the panel that pops up once you complete the trend line. You can add different things like arrows. So if I want to point something out, you can add an arrow to your chart. We have our horizontal lines, which is good for marking up support and resistance levels, as well as our vertical lines, which is good for kind of identifying and pointing out certain areas on a vertical axis. Those are the trendline tools. Under the trendline tools, we have our Fibonacci tools. So there are many different tools that you can use on the Fibonacci tool side. Really, I think for the most part, people really just stick to the fib retracement tool, which allows you to draw some fibs up on your chart. Under the fib tool, we have our brush tool, which gets into allowing us to draw on our charts. We have our rectangle, which can be used to mark up potential zones and areas in the markets. Our arc, which can be used for strategies like this, so on and so forth. Under that, we have our text tools. So being able to actually write some text on the screen, or maybe even leaving yourself some anchor notes or a note in general about a certain price. Under that, we have our different patterns that you can utilize. We have our prediction and measurement tools. We have the different icons and symbols that you can actually use. The actual measure tool itself to allow you to measure different moves in the market, so on and so forth, making our way all the way down to the bottom at the trash can, which deletes everything. So for the most part, that's pretty much it. A basic walkthrough and tutorial on some of the tools and features that you might want to start utilizing today when it comes to TradingView. And as promised, I'm going to give you guys a little tip that will help you out in making your trading a little bit more convenient so that you don't always have to search for a currency pair every single time that you're looking to trade it. On the right hand side of our screen, you look over here, we have this little icon that looks like a notepad. This is actually our watch list. What you can choose to do is add symbols or currencies to your watch list to make it easier for you to actually sift through them and find them as you are trading. Now, if I wanted to add a symbol to the watch list, for example, let's look for USD CAD. We'll simply go to the top of the watch list, click the plus sign, which is add symbol. We'll type in USD CAD, and we'll go over here and add this to our watch list. You can organize your watch list to any way that you want it to be. And as you guys can see, USD CAD is now added to the watch list. So once you decide on your favorite currency pairs or whatever it is that you trade, instead of having to search for them every time you get on the charts, you can add them to your watch list and simply just click them and it'll pull it right up for you to view. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video made sense and has helped you out in any way, shape, or form. And if it did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you are not already subscribed, because here at Trader Bear, we're here to help. I'll see you in the next video.